Good afternoon, Judge Andrew Napolitano here on Judging Freedom. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast of the United States. It's Thursday, January 13, and the Supreme Court has just issued two blockbuster decisions that affect the lives of nearly every American. The Biden administration, as you may recall, had the Department of Labor issue an edict saying that all employers of 100 or more persons must certify that every employee has been vaccinated against COVID or has been tested weekly, and declared that the representatives of the Department of Labor have the authority to come on the property of these private employers to look at the medical records of the employees. That was challenged, and the Supreme Court ruled on it today. The ruling in just a moment. The second challenge was issued by the Department of Health, is over a mandate issued by the Department of Health and Human Services, which said that every healthcare worker in the United States who works in a facility that receives federal funds, so that's not all healthcare workers, but it's many of them, it's about 17 million, must be vaccinated. So the Supreme Court rejected the first mandate, the one which said that all employers of 100 or more persons must certify that their employees are vaccinated, because by a 6-3 vote, the court ruled the government simply is without the authority to do that. This is an argument that many of us have been making the past couple of weeks. In this country, we have the separation of powers, which means the Congress writes the laws, the president enforces the laws, the judiciary interprets the laws, and they don't confuse or exchange powers among themselves. So when the president issues an edict, whether he does so directly or through the Department of Labor, that's the executive branch writing the laws, and the Supreme Court, by a 6-3 vote, shot that down. So this is a lesson to be learned, not only for Joe Biden, but for Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, and Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, and all like-minded liberal governors and mayors who think they can write their own laws just because the issue is one of public health. There is no public health exception in the Constitution, as Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote. The executive branch of the government is simply without the authority to craft laws and enforce them with penalty, no matter what the emergency may be. Now you may say, well, what about the other case? What about the healthcare case? Well, the Supreme Court, by a 5-4 majority, ruled that Congress had already given the Department of Health and Human Services the authority to assure the safety of patients in hospitals that are funded by the federal government. So this is not a worker safety issue. It's a patient's safety issue. While I disagree with the Supreme Court's ruling on this, the rationale is understandable. The rationale is federal funds are being used to support these facilities, typically Medicare and Medicaid, but there are other federal programs that funnel federal dollars into healthcare. And the purpose of these federal funds is not to assure worker safety, it's to assure patient safety. So you have a split on the court. Only Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh were in the majority in both cases. The conservatives dissented furiously in the health worker case. Justice Sam Alito wrote a dissent saying the government doesn't have this authority. Congress was never clear that it was giving the government this authority. Justice Gorsuch wrote a similar dissent. But the Supreme Court, by a vote of 5-4, upheld the Health and Human Services mandates for healthcare workers, and by a vote of 6-3, invalidated the mandate that was a signature part of the Biden administration's means of attacking the COVID pandemic. They're now back to square one. Well, what is square one? Square one can be found in some interesting phrases by Justice Clarence Thomas, namely, under the Constitution, health, safety, welfare, and morality is reserved to the states to legislate and not the federal government. That's the lesson from today's decisions. Judge Napolitano, Judging Freedom.